Ruth Maria and welcome to ST Global News. From the swift prevention of potential terrorist attack near the renowned Munyonyo Martyrs Shrine in Uganda to the Tanzanian couple who received all the sacraments of initiation and the sacrament of matrimony on the same day, we have many stories to cover. On June 3rd, the Ugandan army intercepted two suspected terrorists near the renowned Munyonyo Martyrs Shrine just outside Kampala. One of the individuals was reportedly carrying a powerful explosive device as millions of pilgrims gathered at the famous Namugongo Shrine in days leading up to the commemoration of Uganda's 45 Christian martyrs. Local authorities thwarted what they described as a potential terror attack through swift and coordinated intelligence operation.
The Ugandan army intercepted two suspected terrorists, one of whom was laden with powerful explosives, near the famous Munyonyo Martyrs Shrine near Kampala on June 3rd. Agency officials reported that the army's counter-terrorism combat unit opened fire at the terrorists, sparking an explosion that killed them. The incident occurred while a small congregation had gathered at the shrine for prayers. Army spokesperson Colonel Chris Magezi told Reuters that it was believed that the two people were linked to the Allied Democratic Forces, which is an affiliate of the Islamic State group. The Ugandan army had stepped up surveillance in recent years during major public events, and their swift action has protected the lives of hundreds of pilgrims. June 3rd marks the liturgical feast of the Holy Martyrs of Uganda, a group of 22 Catholic and 23 Anglican converts to Christianity in the Kingdom of Buganda who were executed between January 31st, 1885 and January 27, 1887 for refusing to give up their faith. The Munyonyo Shrine, now a minor basilica, draws more than 2 million pilgrims annually during the feast day.
The Pope reflected on the parable of the workers in the vineyard from the Gospel of St. Matthew, where the landowner gives the same wage to those who arrived at the 11th hour and to those who had arrived much later. At his weekly Wednesday general audience, the Holy Father offered a reassuring message to the faithful, reminding them that the God always waits for each one of us with open arms, no matter how late we are in answering his call. The Pope also encouraged young people, saying that those searching for meaning in life will find it in God, who never disappoints. During his weekly Wednesday general audience, Pope Leo XIV gave a comforting reminder to the faithful that God waits for us with open arms, no matter how late we are in responding to his call. As the Holy Father continued his catechetical series on Jesus Christ our hope, he also reminded young people that if they are seeking meaning in life, God will offer it to them and never disappoint. Pope recalled on the parable of workers of the last hour, according to the Gospel of St. Matthew, where the landowner gives the same wage to the workers of the 11th hour and to those who arrived later than others. In his catechesis, Pope shared that the workers who arrived first were disappointed when the landowner paid all the workers equally. Pope then explained that the landowner wasn't being unfair, he was simply being generous. He didn't look only at merit but also at need. The Holy Father continued, the owner of the vineyard called the workers personally. He knew their dignity and wants to pay them according to the dignity. He highlighted that it is exactly what Jesus does. He doesn't rank us, and to anyone who opens their heart to him, he gives all of himself. Reflecting on this parable, Pope Leo noted that a Christian today might wonder, quote, why start working early if the reward is the same? Why put in more effort? End quote. He pointed out that Saint Augustine answered this kind of doubt by saying, quote, why wait to follow the one who calls you when you are sure of the reward but don't know when your time will come? Don't risk missing out on what he has promised you by delaying. End quote.
May all of us, and especially our young people, be generous and enthusiastic in responding to his call to work in his vineyard.
He emphasized, don't put it off, roll up your sleeves, because the Lord is generous and you won't be disappointed. By working in God's vineyard, you will find an answer to that deep question you carry within you. What is the meaning of your life? Even in the darkest moments, when life passes without giving the answers we seek, the Lord will come again and find us where we are waiting for him. The Kansas-based satanic group Satanic Grotto, which held a black mass on the grounds of Kansas State Capitol in March, is now planning a Witches' Hour protest outside the Capitol this August. According to the Kansas Reflector, Shawnee County prosecutors announced on May 28 that they would not file charges against Michael Stewart and two other members of the group. The Kansas-based Satanic Grotto group that held a black mass on Kansas State Capitol grounds in March this year is planning a Witches' Hour protest event outside the Capitol in August. The leader of Satanic Grotto, Michael Stewart, was arrested after punching a Christian counter-protester in the face inside the Kansas State House on Friday, March 28, and was later released. According to the Kansas Reflector, on May 28, Shawnee County prosecutors decided not to pursue charges against Michael Stewart and two other group members. The Satanic Grotto is now planning a Witches' Hour protest set to take place from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. on the State House's South Lawn in early August and inviting all Wiccans and pagans that they can find. Catholic Ward posted on Platform X on May 30th about the planned public ceremony, adding, quote, "Pray this doesn't happen." In response to the Black Mass, Archbishop Joseph Newman has reconsecrated the state of Kansas to Jesus through the Immaculate Heart of Mary, led a Eucharistic Holy Hour, and celebrated a Mass at the Assumption Church north of the Capitol building on the day of the satanic event. The American Society for the Defense of Tradition, Family and Property, in collaboration with American Aid's Fatima, also organized a rosary rally of protest and reparation, offering prayers for atonement and conversion of the Satanic Grotto members. Thousands of Catholics are expected to gather in the heart of Sydney for the annual Walk with Christ Eucharistic procession on June 22nd, the feast of Corpus Christi. The public display of faith will begin with a festival at Martin Place, followed by a solemn procession through the city streets. Organizers anticipate a record turnout this year, with preparations underway to accommodate nearly 20,000 faithful.
Nearly 20,000 people are expected to take part in the annual Walk with Christ Eucharistic procession in Sydney on June 22nd, the Feast of Corpus Christi. Walk with Christ is the annual Eucharistic procession of the Archdiocese of Sydney. Last year, nearly 15,000 faithful participated in the event. This year's procession will begin at 2:30 p.m. from the corner of Martin Place and Pitt Street in Sydney. It will be preceded by a Eucharistic festival starting at 1 p.m. in Martin Place, often referred to as the civic heart of the city. As home to institutions such as the Reserve Bank of Australia, the Commonwealth Bank, Macquarie Bank, Westpac and other major corporations, Martin Place is also a centre of business and finance. Holding a Eucharistic festival at such a prominent location on the solemnity of the Most Holy Body and Blood of Christ is a powerful public witness to the Catholic faith. The Feast of Corpus Christi, first established in 1264 at the request of St. Thomas Aquinas, is celebrated worldwide with Eucharistic processions and adoration. Hymns composed by the angelic doctor himself, Pange Lingua, Tantum Ergo, and O Salutaris Hostia, will once again echo through the streets as the faithful accompany the Eucharistic Lord in solemn procession.
Following the record number of conversions this past Easter, Archbishop of Sydney, Bishop Anthony Fisher, described the church in Sydney is experiencing a second spring of revival. He credited the Holy Spirit for this growth in Catholicism, noting that it's not just lifelong Catholics returning to faith, but people from a wide range of backgrounds discovering it for the first time and finding something profoundly meaningful. Catholic faith has been spreading across Australia recently, witnessing a 30% increase from the previous year. The Archdiocese of Sydney welcomed a record of 384 catechumens and candidates in March. The Archdiocese also ordained a new bishop along with 2 deacons and a priest last month. With the record number of conversions this past Easter, Archbishop Anthony Fisher declared the church in Sydney to be in a second spring. He attributed the growth of Catholicism among faithful to the Holy Spirit. During the Signs of Hope in this Jubilee Year event on May 30th, Archbishop Fisher noted that, quote, "These aren't just people raised Catholic who are returning, but individuals from diverse backgrounds who are encountering the faith for the first time and finding something deeply compelling," end quote. In addition to parish life, Fisher highlighted the Archdiocese's Catholic schools, noting that enrollment is at an all-time high and continues to grow. The revival is not just unique to Sydney alone. The diocese dioceses across the US also saw similar blooms in the adult conversions this year. The Archdiocese of Los Angeles welcomed more than 5,500 new Catholics this Easter, the highest number of Easter converts in 10 years. Likely, the US and France also saw a record increase in number of new converts. Although Fisher attributes the current rise in religious conversions to the Holy Spirit, he also pointed out everyday factors like the experience of COVID pandemic as contributing influences. Archbishop Fisher also noted that some individuals were attracted by the beauty and sacredness of the liturgy, art or music, while others were drawn by a strong sense of community. He concluded by saying, quote, "It might be too early to declare winter now past, but flowers have appeared in our land, and these are signs of hope." In a rare and moving ceremony in Tanzania, a couple received all sacraments of initiation and the sacraments of matrimony on the same day. Julius Mainga and Eunice Adonius were baptized, confirmed, received Holy Communion, and were married at St. Francis Xavier's Church in Uvinza on May 31st. The sacraments were administered by Father Biju Puthiyaparambal VC, a Syro-Malabar Vincentian missionary serving in the region.
A couple in Tanzania entered the Catholic Church and received the sacrament of holy matrimony on the same day in a rare and joyous celebration of faith. Julius Mainga and Eunice Adonais, residents of Uvinza district in the Kigoma region, were baptized, confirmed, received their first Holy Communion, and were married on Saturday, May 31st. The sacraments were administered by Father Biju Puthiyaparambal VC, who has been serving in Tanzania for many years. The extraordinary celebration took place at St. Francis Xavier's Church in Uvinza, where Father Puthiyaparambal also serves as pastor. While adult baptisms are relatively common in many African nations, it is rare for all the sacraments of initiation to be received alongside matrimony in a single ceremony. The couple had been preparing to enter the Catholic Church under Father Puthiyaparambal's guidance. Father Puthiyaparambal is a member of the Vincentian Congregation, a clerical society of the Syro-Malabar Catholic Church. The Vincentians have been evangelizing in East Africa since the late 1970s, beginning with the arrival of Fathers James Edavaritara and Jacob Attikil in Mbeya, Tanzania.
That's all for today. Until we meet again, God bless and thank you.